Former Minnesota councilman has spoken publicly about what he describes as a deliberate cover-up surrounding a massive Somali-linked fraud case that drained hundreds of millions, possibly over $1 billion from U.S. public assistance programs. According to his account, repeated warnings were raised by local officials and community members, yet state and federal authorities were slow to act. He argues that political sensitivity and fear of backlash created an environment where obvious red flags were ignored. Councilman claims the fraud centered on misuse of federally funded programs intended to support vulnerable children and families. Shell nonprofits, falsified attendance records, and coordinated financial manipulation allegedly allowed large sums of money to be siphoned off with minimal oversight. He maintains that investigators who attempted to push the issue forward faced institutional resistance, while whistleblowers were dismissed or marginalized rather than protected. A key element of the alleged cover-up, he says, was the reluctance of elected officials to confront misconduct tied to a specific community, out of concern they would be labeled discriminatory. This hesitation, in his view, resulted in a double standard that ultimately harmed both taxpayers and the broader Somali community, most of whom had no involvement in the scheme and suffered reputational damage as a result. Former councilman is now calling for full transparency, independent investigations, and systemic reform. He argues that accountability must apply equally, regardless of political consequences, and that public trust depends on it. Without honest reckoning, he warns, similar large-scale frauds will continue, eroding confidence in social programs and undermining the very communities those programs are meant to help.